Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video that kind of talks about my testimony and what I've learned, what God has showed me over the past couple years, past couple months. He's put it on my heart to just share these words that I'm about to speak to you guys. So, yeah, I guess I'll just start by going back through my childhood. When I was younger, I would have really bad night terrors and really bad dreams, like super demonic dreams. They kept me up at night, and I would wake up in the middle of the night and just be sweating and feel like someone was sitting on my chest and I couldn't move or breathe. It was just this awful feeling. And I remember going to my mom and my dad and like, hey, I had a bad dream, and they'd be like, it's fine, just go back to bed. But I was terrified. I couldn't go back to bed because I was afraid of the shadows in the dark, and I would just sit there in the dark and I would just be still, and I didn't know what to do. So I talked to my grandma about it, and she's a really strong believer. She believes in God and Jesus. And I talked to her, and she said, Devin, you just need to call upon the name of the Lord. You need to call on Jesus, and he will help you. And I was like, okay, at this point, I'm desperate in life. Like, I don't know what's right or what's wrong. Like, I guess she is so into believing this that I'm like, I guess that's right, because she's believing it, but I don't see anyone else believing in this stuff, so I guess I'm just gonna go with her since she's the only one that seems to have an answer for me. So I remember like praying to God and being like, God, I don't know who you are, but like, please help me in this situation. I don't know what to do. I'm being tormented by these things. Like, please help me. And I just remember that he helped me through all those moments. Like, I would wake up and I would just be like, no, God, I don't accept those things. Those are not of you. And he would just protect me, and I would have a peace and a calmness over me that I couldn't really like explain to anyone, but I knew he was there. I knew he was real. I knew he saved me from those night terrors and those things that I was dealing with when I was a little kid. When I was a little kid, I was really angry all the time. I was super selfish. I only wanted what I wanted, and anyone else didn't really matter at all. People were like, yeah, I didn't really care about other people. All I cared about is dogs. I literally only cared about dogs. I cared about my little stuffed animals and like my brother and like maybe my family kind of, but really I was just in it for me. So I was a really selfish, angry little kid. Like, I would pull my hair, I would rip my skin, like I would scratch myself because I was so angry. I would punch the walls, like nothing. I just didn't have a peace when I was younger. I was always a mess. Like, everything around me was it just felt like chaos. My life was a mess, and I don't even know, elementary school maybe. So we grew up in Detroit, and we weren't really allowed to go to the parks or like ride our bikes very far because it was in a bad neighborhood, and my dad was a firefighter, so my mom only let us like ride our bikes a couple houses down. So I grew up in a lot of fear. Like, we were, afraid of where we lived. It was just an uncomfortable place to be in. I didn't know there was any other freedom. I didn't know there was freedom on the other side of like kids go to the park and play with their friends and they can walk down the street without worrying about being shot or robbed or whatever. So that was like kind of my mindset when I was younger. I was an angry little kid. I lived in a terrible neighborhood because my dad was a firefighter, and we couldn't move out of Detroit because he worked there. So we eventually moved to a nicer neighborhood, and I was in third grade. That's my chihuahua. I was in third grade when we moved into a nicer neighborhood, and I was in elementary school, and I just remember being shy and nervous and anxious and just mad at my mom all the time, and I was never happy, but I was always trying to be happy, and I was trying to find things to do. I found my joy in dogs and animals and my stuffed animals and just hanging out with my brother. But I remember just being like a really reserved little kid, just like super like weird, and just kind of kept to myself. I just ate a lot of food and just kind of like hung out by myself. Middle school is when I actually started, the end of middle school is when I started getting into like a bunch of like sexual sins and drinking and smoking. That's when everything kind of just like, I don't really know what I'm doing, God, and if you're real, show yourself, and like it never really happened. So I kind of just started into this terrible pathway because it was fun. It seemed fun and exciting and like new, and I never have experience with anything with that. So I kind of just went down this road that I knew in my conscience wasn't right, but I just kind of was like, whatever. Someone will stop me if this is not right. So I just kept walking down this road of destruction, really, this road to sin. It was nothing good. There was nothing good in it. Nothing good came from it. It defiled my conscience. It made me think terrible of myself. It made me just not care about myself at all. And then I got into high school, and that's when I really started getting into like prescription pills and cough syrup, and I was drinking all the time, smoking all the time. I was just a bad influence to everyone around me. I was just not a good kid. I wasn't living for God at all. I barely even thought about it, made a thought, only when I was like too drunk, and then I was like, God, please help me in this moment. And he always came through. Every time I did something stupid, I was like, God, please save me in this moment. Like, please don't let me get arrested. I never got arrested. I got away with every bad thing I've ever done, and it was just from his grace that protected me through it all, because he knew there was a better life for me. I knew that there was something more than just what I was living. So here I am in high school, just living this terrible life. I experimented with a lot of different drugs. I was listening to really bad music that just got into my head and just consumed me in. Like, it was my identity, is like the bad music and the drinking and the partying. That's all I did. I was still like raging mad all the time. Always mad at my mom. There's always anger inside me that just like, I couldn't get it out. I wanted to kill myself. Like, I just wanted to die. I was done living. So that's kind of part of why I was just like experimenting with drugs and stuff. I was like, well, whatever. I don't really care if I go anyway, because I don't want to be here. So like, might as well be fun, right? So there was a couple different times, this is for like these are really long stories. So there's more to this than that, but there's a couple different times in my life where I did something really stupid and God just picked me right up and was like, I love you. This is not how you're supposed to be. There's more for you. There's more to life than what you're living. And I was just like, oh my gosh, he's so good to me. Like, after all these things I've done wrong, he still was like there for me, and I could still feel his presence and his peace overcoming me, but I was still making these bad choices. So it wasn't until like probably a couple months ago that I really, really found out who Jesus was. I started reading the Word, and I was like, I want to know more about this, because I got my own house, I got my own car, I got a motorcycle, I bought 3 dogs, I have all this stuff, I have a good paying job, I'm super happy, I train dogs, I'm a dog trainer, this is what I wanted, everything I wanted in life, and I still wasn't happy. I still wasn't fulfilled on the inside. I'm like, God, what am I missing? And he was just like, me. He just spoke to me one night and just said, me, you're missing me. And it just wrecked me completely. It was just like, oh my gosh, I have all these things, but I don't have him in a relationship with him. And I was like on and off going to church throughout my life, and I went to a Catholic school, but it was like I never had like a relationship with God and who he was, because he's a being that you can talk to, and he's your friend. So I never understood that point in church. It was kind of like I would just go to church and try to like get whatever out of God. That was like, all right, God, like I want this and like whatever, but I don't want to like be a burden, so like let me know if that's cool, kind of thing. But I never really understood it. But it wasn't really until I got into just fully seeking him with all of my heart and just being like, all right, God, like what do you want from me? Like, what do I need to do? Like, I want to give my life to you, God. Like, I was just captivated by the scriptures and the people in the Bible, and like how they just follow Jesus. That's what he says, follow me. So that's what I'm kind of doing now, is I'm just laying down my life of everything I wanted, and I'm going full force after Jesus and seeking first the kingdom. So I was super prideful in training my dogs. It was something that I thought I was really good at, to me, dog training is really easy. Dogs were my friends when I lived in Detroit. All my neighbors had dogs, and I was really only allowed in my backyard. So I did a lot of talking to dogs, more than like talking to God at all. So dogs were my thing. They made sense to me. So I got Chance, and then I got Marble, and then I got Chipper. So I trained up Chance, I trained Marble, and I trained her really well. I spent so much time with her. Right when my mom got breast cancer, I got her, and it was kind of like I got her just to like not have to deal with my mom in a way, in like a terrible way. But sorry, Mom, love you. But I got Marble, and I trained her really well, and I was super prideful in what I was doing, because that's what the world trains you to. The world trains you to be prideful in something, and to, you know, to have all these things that makes you who you are. And in the Bible, it's like the opposite, and it's like, whoa, you're not supposed to be prideful. You're supposed to be humble in all your ways. And I was just like, I just got wrecked. I was like, I've been living the wrong way. Like, I've been trained by the world, you know? So here I am with these dogs that are well trained, and I'm like, God, what do? I want to live for you, but I know it's not this. So he really put it on my heart I gave my dog away. I gave Marble away. She lives with a really good friend. She lives with a really good friend now, and I'm going to be, Chance and Chipper are going to be going there as well, and I'm laying down my life, and I'm not going to live at this house that I worked really hard for anymore. I'm giving it all away. I'm probably selling my bike. I'm just getting rid of everything that I thought that I was and who I wanted to be. I got a motorcycle because I wanted freedom. I wanted this freedom. Then I got the motorcycle, wrecked the motorcycle. That's another story altogether, but it's a cool story. I'll share that too. Wrecked the motorcycle, survived, got back on it, still been riding it, and then I just realized, like, that's not where freedom comes from. Freedom is from the Lord. It's not from something you do around you. It's not from how many friends you have. It's not from what you do or what you own. It's literally just first seeking the kingdom, reading about who he is and why he came and why he died for us so we could be set free from all these things. He forgives us of all of those things, all those bad things that I did. He's forgiven me of all those, and now there's a new life. That way I don't have to live in shame and condemnation like this world tells you have to. So it's exciting, and it's also like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? No one does this. I'm laying down my life. I'm laying down everything that I wanted to go after something that I can't see. So that's what faith is. You're taking a leap of faith, and you're believing that when you step out, he's going to catch you. So I guess this is just like an act of faith of like, I'm just fully stepping out and surrendering myself and surrendering my life and being like, God, use me. Like, I want to speak to people. I want them to be set free. I don't want them to cut themselves. I don't want them to kill themselves. I don't want them to have all these eating disorders. I was super heavy into, I was really bulimic for a long time, and he set me free from these things. Like, you don't have to live this way. He is the way, and he is the answer. So I just wanted to encourage you guys just to read the word, read the Bible, start asking God to show himself to you. Just pray to him, keep seeking him. Maybe even like go to a church or something around you. Sometimes, I don't know, churches are gonna, you really have to find one that your heart fits in, if that makes sense. But it's really just about seeking God on your own. It's not about a place to go that you see Jesus there. It's about sitting in your room, lock yourself in your closet, and just pray to him. Like, open your hands and receive him and be like, God, show me who you are. I just want to know more about who you are. But yeah, I guess that's really all I wanted to share with you guys on my story and what's been going on, because this will be a really long typed out post. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye! I also wanted to share about how God has really changed my heart for dogs and for people. So I was obsessed with dogs. Dogs were the only thing that mattered to me. I really chose dogs over people at this point. When I was training, I would get super upset at people, and like, they just didn't care as much as I cared, and it was frustrating to me. I was like, why don't you care about your dog? Like, my dogs were my everything, so I expected everyone else's dogs to be their everything, and when they weren't, it made me mad and frustrated, and I was like, I don't understand this. But then when God got a hold of me, and he just completely wrecked me, like, I mean wrecked me, like, I'm crying on the floor, sobbing in the presence of God, wrecked me. He changed my heart for dogs and he turned them towards people. He took my hate for people and turned it into complete love. And only he could do that. Like, only he could completely change your heart from hate and hard to softened it. He just softened my heart for people, and my heart just started breaking for people, and my love for them just started like bubbling up inside me, where I just want to love people better than dogs. Like, yeah, dogs are great and they're awesome, but they're not everything on this planet. They're not everything, you know. It even refers to them in the Bible as kind of just like thrown out with the trash. Like, they're not really like anything great in the Bible. I also like idoled them. I really like worshipped dogs at this point. Like, I really cared more about dogs than people is what I guess I'm trying to get at here. So I just wanted to set people free from the bondage of their animals. I know some people might get offended by this, and it might not sit well, but I just pray that, God, you show them who you are and who you created them to be, and that people are more valuable than Barky McBarks out here. Oh my gosh, I just want people free from their animals. And I know it seems wrong that I'm like giving my dogs away, but they're going to a really nice place and a really good home, and they're really loved, and I believe it's going to be a blessing for who's getting my dogs, and maybe one day I'll have them back. I don't know what it looks like, but all I know is my heart hurts for people. My heart breaks for people. I want to bless people. I want to go out and pray for people. I want to set people free. I want to let them know the reason they're here. I want to let them know that Jesus is real and he loves them and he's waiting for you just to like fall into his arms. So I just wanted to state that too, that yeah, animals aren't everything, you know. Reach out to your family, reach out to your friends. Just love on people. That's the main point. That's like the main point in the Bible is like love. Just love everyone. You're not self-seeking. You're not seeking after your own things and getting what you want. You're laying down your life for your friends. You're laying down your life for others. So that way you can't be offended and you can't get mad at all these things because you're no longer living for yourself. So you're free from people. You're free from yourself. You're just like, you're free. You're just, nothing shakes you because he lives inside you, and that's all that really matters, is just showing the world who Jesus is, because hell is a real place. I've been there on a shroom trip. It is a real place. So I just want to encourage you guys that this is so important. This is the only thing that I'm truly believing in. Yes, I still train dogs. That's my job, and I still like dogs, and I still have a place in my heart for dogs, but people are just so much more important than animals. So I really wanted to kind of just say that out loud, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So God, I pray that anyone who's watching this, you just show yourself to them more, and you continue to just encourage everyone and to wake people up to the truth of life, and to set people free so they don't have to live in shame and condemnation and believe the lies of the enemy, because he's real too. The enemy is real. There's a real place that he's going to, but we're created not to go there. Is not a good place to go there. People really do joke about it, and they're on the highway to hell, and it's like, dude, that is a real place. It is not a place you want to go. I've been there. I'm letting you know it is real, and you do not want to be on that road, okay? You don't have to start with laying down your life. You just have to start with accepting Jesus as the truth and accepting him in your life and being like, okay, this is real. I believe. Just start by believing. That's what, you know, just start with a little tiny bit of faith and just believe in him. That's all you really have to start with. Then you can, if you feel on your heart, you can get baptized, and it's just good, guys. I really recommend just the transforming of your mind, the changing of your life. It is so good. I have never been happier in my life. I have never felt more alive. I don't hate waking up in the morning. I love waking up. I don't have a problem with waking up anymore. I used to be so like tired and I hated getting up. I dreaded it, but now I'm so excited because I have a reason to live. So I just wanted to like encourage you guys that you have a reason to live, and there's so much more than what you're living in right now if you're not happy and you're not content with where you're at and you don't know who God is or Jesus and you don't really know where to turn. Also, if anyone needs a Bible or is like stuck or you need help, let me know. Like, I will help you any way I can. So I love you all, and